Now on Talking Solutions, welcome into the studio, Lanette Rivera with the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth.
Hello.
Lanette, I don't think a lot of people realize what a big problem this is.
We were actually ranked first in the nation for having the highest rate of our homeless youth. Las Vegas has the third largest population of homeless youth in the country. The only two cities that are leading us are LA and New York. But if you think about their population compared to ours, we are third in the country, having the highest rate of our homeless youth unsheltered and on the streets every single night. Just because we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have enough beds for homeless youth here. So Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, we're really doing anything and everything you can imagine to get youth off of the streets and onto a pathway of self-sufficiency because there's such a need for it here in our community.
Do we have a ballpark number of how many kids are dealing with this?
On any given night, there's over 2,000 youth sleeping on the streets. Last year, Clark County School District's numbers were that there were over 14,000 homeless youth in our schools. So it's a really huge issue, a growing issue. Every year we've seen the numbers grow and it's just gotten worse and worse. We really need to get the word out there. We really need to make people more aware of this because I know before I came to NPHY, I wasn't aware of the issue. I had been in Las Vegas almost 9 years now and I've been with NPHY 3 years. I was a volunteer for 2 years prior, so about 5 years of that. But I remember hearing about the numbers and at that time there was just over 9,000 in our schools and it was hard to even fathom that there's 9,000 children on the streets. It's grown since then. Not enough people are aware that it's an issue and we actually serve youth ages 12 to 21. So there are 12-year-olds coming into our drop-in center who are on the streets, who have run away from abuse or neglect. I think a lot of the times when we're speaking about homeless youth, there's stigmatism. They're just punks and they're running away and they don't want to listen. But we have more youth who are coming to us who are running away from abuse, neglect, trafficking victims. There's more of those stories than any other story. A lot of times I tell people, hey, if a 15-year-old would rather sleep on the streets of Las Vegas than in their home, there's probably something going on that we don't know about. It's a really big issue. There's a lot of different stereotypes and things that surround homeless youth, but most of those are very untrue. So we're really trying to spread awareness, trying to show people that we have a lot of straight A students, a lot of athletes, UNLV students, CSN students, high school students. We recently sent one of our youth to Columbia University with a full ride scholarship. I mean, how incredible. He had dropped out of high school in the 9th grade, got his GED. He wanted to pursue education. He came to NPHY and he was able to go to school, not have to worry about paying for anything, and we sent him to Columbia University, full ride scholarship. So there's a lot of hope with homeless youth. If we find them on the streets at 15, we can completely change their lives and their path and send them off to Harvard and to Columbia and send them off into the world to do incredible things. It's a very hopeful population.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
The Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth. Lanette, while we're talking, I'm thinking of all the different situations that involve homeless youth. Mm-hmm. The kids who are trying to still go to school.
Yes.
But I'm sure their pride, they're not out there telling everybody they come across, hey guys, I may be in school today, but tonight I won't have a place to sleep. My family is existing out of a car.
Exactly.
I've run away because of an abusive situation. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's got to be so many individual situations that are all completely different. But in the end comes down to one problem, and that is that we've got a huge amount, big number of homeless youth right here in Southern Nevada.
You're right on point with that, because that is one thing that we often tell people about the homeless youth population is that they are not going to be the people on the corner with the sign. Nope. A lot of the homeless youth that we see, you would never look at them and even think that they were homeless. We've had youth who have slept on their bleachers of their school for 3 months before anybody even noticed, because they were doing everything that they could to figure out a way for no one to find out. Taking showers at people's houses, when their friends fell asleep. They were going to the park every morning to wash up and brush their teeth and change their clothes, and figuring out ways to wash their clothes and keep clean, really doing everything that they could to not give people the idea that they may be homeless. And a lot of it has to do with them being young and them wanting to fit in with their friends and them being ashamed and feeling like it's their fault in some way, which it's not.
No.
But also it has to do with trying to be safe, because as you can imagine, being a teenager on the streets, it's dangerous for them. They have people that are looking to victimize them, traffickers who are looking to lure them into human trafficking. It's actually a statistic that within 48 hours of a youth becoming homeless, they will be lured into some kind of trafficking situation or some kind of situation where they're selling their body for something to eat or for a place to sleep. That's a really scary statistic, and it's very real. Youth are doing everything that they can to hide the fact that they are homeless, which is why we do a lot of education when we go out and speak to different groups, because if you have a teenager and maybe they have a friend who has been staying over a few nights a week and they don't have a parent calling or looking for them, or they don't have a change of clothes, or maybe they only have 1 or 2 pairs of clothes that you see and you see them every day, those could be red flags. If they're trying to spend the night a few times a week, or they're sneaking in your house, there's a lot of different things. But I recently had somebody tell me they had spent the night in a closet of their friends until their parents fell asleep, and they never realized they were homeless. They had a place to sleep. These youth are trying to survive any way that they can, and it can be really scary out there. So they're trying to be invisible, and that's why they're referred to as the invisible population, because a lot of people don't know about it, but a lot of people don't see it.
We have to see them.
Definitely.
It's a problem. You help kids up to 21, so I would imagine some of those older kids have aged out of the foster care system.
Yeah.
And they no longer have that support. Now they're out on their own.
Exactly.
There's just so many different instances where a kid does not have the support they need.
Exactly. And as adults, we have to really think about this population. These are teenagers, so they're in these prime development years, and they're missing out on a lot of support that they need in order to really be self-sufficient adult. That's one thing that I truly admire about Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, and it's the reason I really got involved and now work there, because I started as a volunteer. We really have a full range of services. We're not just giving out food. We're not just giving out clothes and hygiene supplies and all those things. We have a drop-in center where youth can come, and we have case managers who are licensed social workers. Youth can come there. We have an art and music therapy room. We have a gym. We have a basketball court. We have all kinds of different services, legal services, therapy. These are all things that they need, but they also need life skills. We offer life skills classes. We offer different engagement classes, teaching them how to build resumes. I mean, all kinds of different things, because they're missing out. A lot of youth are learning these things from their parents. So if they're not learning from their parents, who's going to teach them? We step in and we actually teach them vital things they need to know in life, budgeting, financial literacy, and all kinds of different things. But also we have a independent living program where youth actually live with us full time. The young man that I mentioned that went to Columbia University, he lived with us for about a year and a half before when he went to CSN. He had a 4.0 grade point average, but he was able to save money, learn all kinds of different life skills, and then he went on to New York. But we're still able to send him packages and really, be that support system that he needs while he's away in college. So that's our independent living program. We also have a crisis intervention program, which is really, really incredible. It's our Safe Place program. If you haven't seen it, you cannot unsee it now, but there's a yellow diamond at every Terrible Herbst gas station, RTC bus, Las Vegas City Fire Station. That is NPHY's program, and that is a program where any youth in in crisis can go to any of those locations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Let somebody there know that they need help, and we will send somebody out 24 hours a day to pick them up, assess the situation, and figure out what the next steps are. In some cases, we've had youth who have come because they have gone to a party with their friends and their friends were drinking. They didn't want to get in the car. We just had to pick them up and take them home. In other cases, that is a way for us to get to youth who may be escaping trafficking or abusive situations where they got away for 5 minutes, were able to run to a Terrible Herbst gas station. We were able to pick them up and get them out of a really bad situation and bring them to our drop-in center. So again, it's available to any youth in crisis. It's another way that we're able to go out and do a lot of outreach in schools, because as you can imagine, we can't go into a high school and say, hey, we're Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth. Come see us.
Anybody here need our help?
Exactly.
Stand up. Let everybody know who you are.
Exactly. That's not going to work. So what we do is we go out into high schools, junior highs, and say, hey, we're a safe place. This is a program available to everyone, but also here's some information about Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, because those youth that may be sleeping in their bleachers or maybe couch surfing or maybe hiding the fact that they're homeless, when they get that card that says, this is Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, here's what we can do for you, they may be leaning towards, okay, this is a resource that I can use. Let me see how they can help me. That's our crisis intervention program, Safe Place. We have a family reunification program. We do a lot of outreach. We have a new mentorship program that is really, really cool. It's the first of its kind here in Southern Nevada, and we actually won grants to bring this program here. But it's a youth mentorship program called Power On for youth who have been trafficked or youth who are at risk of becoming trafficking victims. It's basically a mentorship program. These youth who enter the program will be matched with a volunteer who is a mentor, and they will have a year-long mentor-mentee relationship. It's really incredible, really trying to empower youth to not be lured back into trafficking, trying to keep them away from those situations altogether.
Pull them off that really bad path.
Exactly. We have a really wide range of programs to help youth at any stage of homelessness, to provide all kinds of different resources, all kinds of different support so that we can get them out of their situation and onto that pathway of self-sufficiency. Because our end goal is to end youth homelessness here in Southern Nevada and to spread awareness and make it something that everyone here in this city really, really cares about. But it's also to empower these youth so that if they do become homeless, they know where the resources are. They know that they can come to NPHY. They also know that they can be empowered and stay away from all of the bad things that may be lurking and waiting for them in that vulnerable state.
This would be a very treacherous place for a kid that didn't have a support system. Because as you mentioned, Lanette, predators are out there.
Yeah.
And when you're out on the streets and you need help, they are going to be the first people to stand up and go, I got you.
Exactly. And that's where you see the young women and the young men who are in this vulnerable state, and they're being lured into illicit things because they don't know better, or they're looking for somebody to help them, or they want a place to sleep because they're terrified of being out on the streets, or they're hungry. It's very easy in that vulnerable state to be lured into these things. But if we empower our youth and we empower the city so that we all know this is an issue, that these are things to look out for, and that Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth is there and ready to step in at any point that a youth becomes homeless. If everybody was empowered with that knowledge, then we can really start solving this issue here in the community.
Sounds like we've got quite the big issue with homeless youth. Unfortunately, we've got a really big population here in Las Vegas. You said third biggest nationally, but the only cities over us as far as numbers, big cities,
exactly.
Los Angeles and New York.
Yes.
So here in Southern Nevada, we've got far more than our share of homeless youth.
Too many, way too many.
Fortunately, we've got NPHY, which is the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth.
We want to solve this issue, and our end goal is to close our doors one day and say, we have resolved the issue of youth homelessness. We cannot do all the parenting here in this town. We can't teach parenting here, but what we can do is educate our children. We can educate everyone within the community that this is an issue, that these are things that can happen, but here are the resources available. And the shorter amount of time time, as soon as we can get a youth off of the streets, if they've been on the streets for one night versus a week, we're doing our job there because we can spread awareness about all of our resources and say, hey, Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth is here. You can go to this place or you can go to this place to access their services. The more youth know about that, the less time they will spend on the streets. And that's really what we need to do. We need to make sure that we get youth as soon as they leave their home or kicked out of their home or are running away from their home. The sooner we get them to the drop-in center, the better chances of getting them out of that situation. So it's about educating people. It's about educating the youth within our community that resources are there and they don't have to spend the nights on the street.
So it's not only making adults aware of the problem here in Southern Nevada. We all need to do something to help.
Yeah.
It's also to spread the word so that kids who end up in this situation know that there is a safe option for them, people who have got their back, to give them guidance in those critical teen years.
Exactly.
To set them up for success for the rest of their life. They don't have to be in this lifestyle. There are options.
Exactly. And in November, Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth held the first annual Youth Homelessness Summit here in Southern Nevada in partnership with Sands Las Vegas. It was really incredible. We had over 350 community members, leaders, assemblymen, assemblywomen. I mean, it was really incredible. All of us came together to discuss the issue of youth homelessness and all the issues correlated to it. Immigration, LGBTQ issues, human trafficking issues, education, to discuss how all of those things are correlated to youth homelessness. That was actually the kickoff of a community-wide initiative that we're doing in 2018 to come up with a plan to end youth homelessness. We're going to do all kinds of different stuff over the year. And in November, at our second annual Youth Homelessness Summit, we're going to be presenting that plan. It's really, really cool that we were able to come together with UNLV and some professors there and come up with all kinds of research and going forward how we're going to resolve this issue. A campaign called Be the Movement, because we really need to, as a community, be the movement to end youth homelessness. We have to all come together. It can't just be some of us. It can't just be the youth homelessness service providers within the community. It has to be everybody. It has to be business partners. It has to be community members. It has to be parents. Everyone has to come together to really resolve this issue because nobody wants to see a teenager on the streets. No kid deserves that. Every youth deserves a chance to have a bright future. And it's unfortunate that at this point, not all youth do. But if we come together, we can definitely make that difference.
We got a lot of very caring, smart people in Southern Nevada.
Definitely.
But we do have to join together and work on this because it is a problem, the problem of youth homelessness. It's not the fault of the kids. I'm sure that every child that you come into contact with through the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, it doesn't matter what the reason, it does matter that there's a kid. Every day is another day down the road, and we got to get this taken care of.
You're so right. There are so many different situations, and that's why we don't have just one plan for all. Every time a youth walks through our door, we have our case managers who are licensed social workers sit down with them, make a plan with them, set goals. Every time they come into the drop-in center, they have to meet with their case manager because their case manager often becomes that person that's holding them accountable, asking them, where did you sleep last night? Have you eaten? Are you going to school? Well, let's fix that. These youth need somebody, a figure like that in their life to help them, to support them, to help guide them. But we definitely can't do it without the community's support. A lot of people, they're a little afraid to come down to the drop-in center because they feel like, oh, I'm going to cry. It's scary and it's so sad. I don't want to see all these homeless youth. But you walk into our drop-in center, and our drop-in center is actually located in a residential neighborhood. It looks like a home. You walk in and there's a lot of laughing. There's video games and people working on resumes and doing homework and tutoring, and there's all these things going on throughout the day and throughout the week. But there's a lot of smiling. There's a lot of hope. Because again, we can change their lives at this point. You know, if they've been homeless on the streets for years, it gets a little harder. And when they are homeless youth, if we don't solve the issue now, they're more likely to become homeless adults.
Oh, sure.
So at 15, 16, 17, even if they've dropped out of high school because of their homeless situation, at no fault of their own, we can still change their lives, you know? And I go back to the young man that I mentioned earlier. He had dropped out of high school in 9th grade. He wanted to pursue education. He was in another program here in Southern Nevada, and they told him, nope, you have to work. You have to work. He didn't want to work. He wanted to go to college. He knew that he was smart. He knew his potential. So he came to NPHY. We allowed him to go to school. He scored 99% on his GED.
Wow.
He went to CSN. He took his SAT, ACT, scored in the top 5 percentile in the country, and then went off to Columbia with a full ride scholarship. Imagine if he would not have been able to pursue education. Imagine if we would have looked at this kid and said, oh, he was a high school dropout in 9th grade.
He's useless.
Yeah, he's useless. He's a punk. Imagine if that's the way that we looked at him.
No.
Because a lot of people look at homeless youth that way. But imagine if we would have looked at him and we didn't see his potential. He's in New York now, going to Columbia University with a full ride scholarship. That's one story, but we see that so often. Smart, brilliant, bright kids that just need a little bit of support and a place to put their head at night. The world is their oyster. They can do whatever they want in their life.
I just think that a lot of people, unfortunately, who are not educated on the subject, see just faceless kids.
Yeah.
We need to look at each one of those kids individually and look them in the eyes and see them.
Exactly.
And listen to their story and their needs and what we together can do to help them get back on their feet in a good situation and move on and achieve as adults.
Exactly. And they really can. I have so much passion for what I do and for the youth that we see, and I want people to know where my passion comes from. It is because there's so many smart, brilliant, young teenagers who just need a little bit of support. They need the community to look at them and see that they can be anything they want to be. And when we give them the thought that they have that potential, they will do everything that they can to reach that potential. And it's really incredible to see. And the homeless youth population is such a hopeful population. They really are. We can change their lives, and they're our future. That's the way we need to look at it. They are the future of not only our city, but they are the future leaders. They are the future of our country, and we need to make sure that they are taking care of their children, and they don't deserve to be on the streets. So if there's anything that anybody in this city should know is just take a chance to come and learn about the issue. Take a chance to come and tour Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth's drop-in center to learn more about our programs and why it's so crucial. It's not just food and clothing and hygiene supplies that are important. It is really important that we provide all the different resources, the counseling, the therapy, the life skills, the financial literacy, the resume building. All these different things are so important, and it will help them get to the next level and reach their full potential.
Give them the support they need.
Exactly.
Lanette Rivera is with us with the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth. On Talking Solutions, Lanette, we always ask, what can we do to help you?
We are always in need of donations. Basically, we ask the community to get involved with helping us raise funds or gift cards for homeless youth here in Southern Nevada. We ask for $5 to $10 fast food gift cards, $25 to $50 grocery store gift cards, because we are working with homeless youth, and a lot of the times they don't have access to a stove or a microwave. So, we have a lot of people that want to do canned food drives, but if we give a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old a can and they don't have a place to live or a place to go or even a can opener to open that, what can they really do with it? So what we do is we give fast food gift cards, cards to Subway, places like that, Starbucks, so that they have access to a hot meal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I got this mental picture when you were talking about a canned food drive, and I'm thinking these kids don't even have a place to sleep, so the stuff they're carrying around in many cases is with them.
Exactly.
So let's add a bunch of bulk and have them just drag around cans that they really can't use anyway.
Yeah.
However, the grocery gift card that you mentioned, Lanette, all the grocery stores now are coming along with ready-made foods, cut fruits, salads.
Exactly.
There's ready-made soups. You could take a grocery card for a kid that doesn't have a home but needs a good meal.
Exactly.
And that would be a great solution.
Exactly. And it's not us giving them money, it's us handing them a gift card. And what happens is we see these youth a few times a week, and when they come back to us, they give us their receipt. We'll check them out, make sure that they're making healthy choices, also helping them, especially with the grocery cards. Even the youth in our independent living program, they benefit from the grocery cards that we receive because we have youth living with us full time, and they're actually having to budget and go out and shop for themselves. So then they're learning how to budget, they're learning how to shop for themselves. But for the youth that may not be in our program, that may be couch surfing, that may be living on the streets, we have a lot of youth living on the streets here in this city. If they come into our drop-in center and they're looking just for a meal, we can always give them a fast food gift card and they can walk away. A lot of these fast food restaurants, a lot of the grocery stores are open 24 hours a day here in this city. So they can walk away from our drop-in center and we know that they will have access to a meal. And it's something that is definitely needed. These youth are on the streets and they are not getting to enjoy these nice meals. A lot of them don't even have access to food the way that we do. So giving them a food gift card, it's a reliable way for them to get a meal 24 hours a day.
What do we do with that card? I'd love to do that. Do I donate something through the website? Do I come and drop it off?
Yeah, both. You can do either or. You can drop off donations of the food gift cards at our drop-in center Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can come in anytime and drop those things off. But you can also definitely make donations through our website, www.nphy.org. If you go to the website and go to our donate page, there's a little drop-down menu. You click PFD and you can make a $5 to $10 donation. A small donation can make such a huge impact. I mean, that's a meal for somebody who did not have a meal prior to that small donation. So I encourage everybody, make a $5 donation. It can really change somebody and the way that they're feeling in that day and give them a meal. We also need volunteers. We have a lot of engagement opportunities. We look for fitness instructors, art instructors, music instructors to come in and teach classes. We look for cooks who are looking to volunteer to come in and teach a cooking class at our drop-in center. But another thing is we need advocates. We need people to start learning about this issue, talking about this issue, really spreading awareness about this growing issue in our community. Because the more advocates that we have, the more people that are talking about the issue, the more people that are going to know about the issue. So I really encourage everyone to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all of our different social media sites. Read about us. Go to our website, www.nphy.org. Read more about us. Give us a call. Schedule a tour. Come down to our facility. It really changes the way people think about the issue, think about the services that we offer. They think that they may be coming down to a scary shelter place, but it's really not. It's a home for our youth. It's a safe place. It's a really great center where youth can come and be youthful and enjoy some time in a really safe place surrounded by adults who are community leaders and people within the community. A lot of the times when the youth are running away from abusive, neglectful situations, they think that all adults are that way. But when we have volunteers and companies and groups that come to our drop-in center, the youth see not all adults are bad, or hey, somebody from this company was asking me about my day and they really cared. It makes a big difference. You know, coming down to our drop-in center, being involved any way that you possibly can, it's needed. We definitely need more people involved in the issue, in engaging, in volunteering, and just being a part of the solution.
Open your eyes and see the potential.
Yeah, definitely.
We can all help. And I do believe, Lanette, with Talking Solutions, the reason why we come and ask people like yourself in the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth to come and tell us about the situation that surrounds us. Raising awareness makes us understand. We're more empathetic. In the end, we're all nicer to one another.
Exactly.
So if we understand that a problem exists, being the caring people that we are, there are easy ways that we can be part of the solution.
Exactly.
We also will have all of the links to your website on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with a podcast of our discussion today.
Awesome.
Lanette, is there anything I'm forgetting?
No, I think we covered everything. Again, I encourage everyone, come down, learn more, get involved, because we are changing lives at NPHY, and we want everyone to be a part of that.
Reach out a hand and help show the way for these kids so they don't drop through the cracks.
Exactly, yeah.
And that can be done. The Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, Lanette Rivera, is with us. Thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for helping us spread awareness and being a part of the movement.
You have to come back in,
Anytime.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.